I double checked my gauge swatch. I double checked. Hello, hello. Hey everyone, it's Natalie, also known as Nitty Natty. Welcome to episode 289 of the Love in Stitches podcast. I am so excited to be back outside for this video. I think I filmed 3 videos in a row in the van for various reasons. One, it was smoke, and then I think the other 2, we were just in too busy of places. But luckily I found a little quiet, hopefully, pocket here in Yellowstone. So we're in one of the most beautiful places, I think, in North America. Today alone, we've seen geysers, we've seen bears, we've seen bison, of course. It's been really, really cool. And this is our second visit, or my second visit. I think Kent's been many, many times, but very excited to be here and to be outside in such lovely weather. It's a little spooky here. I have Kent watching me just, make sure I'm safe and okay. But the trees are like swaying back and forth in the wind. You might see it with like the changing sunlight, but it's a little bit eerie. So if I jump up really quick, it's because I'm scared of the trees. Hopefully nothing else spooky that will happen. Well, I have so much to share with you today, so let's get right into it. First up, I have a finished object and I didn't get to block it, so I'm not wearing it today. Also, it would be too chilly, but I do have a finished Seaside shirt. So let me see. Oh, I do have the yarn in here. Perfect. So this yarn is from the Knitting Loft. It is called Candy Shop. It's a really fun colorway, and I used 2 skeins of it to make the Seaside shirt by Brianna Lupino. This is what I've got left of my 2 skeins, and here is my tank top. You're going to see a couple of ends, but they're already woven in. I just need to trim them. How cute is that? So bright. And so fun. I'm really, really happy with it. I'm waiting until I get back to Nashville, to my parents' house, to block it because we will be there very, very soon. And it's not really worth using the water here when we have such limited access to it. Plus, I don't have a tub. So I'm going to wait until I get back to block it and try it on, but I think everything is looking really good. So since this is a finished project, I like to look back and see, kind of the whole stats of the whole thing. So I started this on August 27th and I finished it on September 13th. So in total, 18 days on this project, which is really fast for me personally. I did concentrate on it pretty exclusively. I have some other projects going on, like my socks and my blanket, but this was really my main thing. I did make a couple of modifications. So I added a lot of length to the body. I think in total I added maybe 3 to 4 inches. It's supposed to be super cropped because it's part of a set that's a skirt and tank top. So I knew I was going to wear mine just with jeans or shorts or something. So I added a bunch of length to it, and I can measure that and try to add it into my project page when I'm actually done with it. And then the only other thing is actually something I might go back and change, because look at the back right here. See this little almost dome thing that's looking like a heel? So this is the short rows on the back neck, and I'm afraid I might have done them wrong, but when I made the dress that's the same design, I remember having to change the short rows. So I went back and looked at my dress notes, and it said that I just shortened the short rows by 2 rows. So I did the same thing on this, and it didn't help. So I wonder if I did something different on the dress, or if I followed the instructions incorrectly, or if blocking will change this. Because what I think is supposed to happen is it's supposed to kind of curve and rise up in the back. But right now, without blocking, you can't really see it too well. It's literally just poking out so badly. It looks like a hump in the back, which is not very attractive. So I will try blocking it, and hopefully that will resolve anything. I did still shorten it by 2 rows. So I only worked whatever the number of short rows I was supposed to work, I reduced it by 2 sets, I believe. But anyway, that's the only thing I would say keep an eye on if you're making this pattern. I wonder if I needed to do more distance in between the short rows. I think the short rows are the same as the front as they are on the back, just not as many. And it worked beautifully on the front, right? I have a nice curved front, but I don't really know what happened there. So I'm gonna block it first, and then maybe I will be wearing it in a couple of weeks once we get back to Tennessee. It's gonna be hotter there, so I'm sure I'll be able to wear it. But I am so happy all in all with this project. It was such a breeze to make. So I used my 2 skeins of fingering weight, and I actually cast on, no, I didn't, that's a lie. Because it's a tubular cast on, I used 1 skein to cast on, and then I joined in that second one for helical knitting to blend the colors together pretty quickly, as soon as I could. So from the ribbing up. So I had my 2 ends down here from where I cast on and added in the second skein. And then I got lucky and one of my skeins ended up in the front and one of them ended up in the back. So I just used that for the back and the front. And then the only other ends I had to like cut and start over was, I don't remember, because this is a pretty cool design, how it all comes together. You don't have to go back and pick up on the armbands here because you just split and then you just work like a slip stitch basically. And then when you get to the top here, because you work short rows, you do 3 needle bind offs, and then all your stitches except for a couple on the sides are already there for you, so you don't have to cut yarn and pick back up. So as far as smoothness of knitting, this is so smooth. It is so nice to make. So you'll see this again, hopefully in a couple weeks when I have it blocked and I'm wearing it. Next up, I have a brand new project that I am so excited about, but I want to talk about the bag first. So I went to Polka Dot Creek in the Calgary area this week. I actually went to their 2 locations that are not in Calgary, but I'm going to kind of sprinkle that in all throughout the podcast and in the live segment because we did a lot with Polka Dot Creek this week. So when I went to their Airdrie location, I went to a stitch night, which was so much fun. And I got to meet Shelly, who is a dyer. I also got to meet Allie, her daughter, who is also their dyer, their head dyer. And I got to meet Penny, Shelly's mom, who makes these incredible project bags. They sell them in all their stores, but she made this one for me and gifted it to me. And it is so amazing. It has to get some love. So it's a really cool style, really big. I have 8 skeins of worsted weight yarn in here, plus a sweater. And it's got like a deep pocket on the front, a zipper pocket here, and long enough handles that you can put them on your shoulder. I also love when bags come with this lining that cinches in, but when you open it and drop it into the bag, like it completely disappears. So you can have your bag, you know, because it's got like the box. There's so much dog hair on it already. I've been using it a lot. Since it has a boxier bottom, it can sit. The lining can fall in and I can easily use this at home. So I just love that. And then she also made me a little card, like this little tag goes on the outside of the bag and it's so pretty. It has like pretty ribbons. Anyway, I wanted to keep this at least for a while because I just thought it was so nice. So thank you, Penny. I absolutely love it. All right. Let's talk about this sweater that I cast on. So I have started the Leith Cardigan by Rebecca Clow. It's been on my list for a while, but if you watched this Tuesday's video, I share 10 striped sweater patterns that I really like. And I end up revealing at the end that the Leith cardigan is the one that I picked. So sorry if you haven't seen that yet, but it's one of the cardigans on the list. And it's been on my lists before. Like I think I did a video last fall all about cardigans, and this was one of the ones on there because I just think it's a really fun design. And so I'm finally getting around to working on it. So before I show it to you, I wanted to show you the yarn that I got. So again, Polka Dot Creek. I figured that was going to be a great place to get some lovely, pretty solid colors for this pattern because it's all like, I'm doing the big chunky stripes version. So I've got a main color and then I've got 4 contrast colors. One will go on the front. So it's like color 1, color 2, color 3, color 4. Oh goodness, some honking. So my colors, let's see, they're all from Polka Dot Creek in their 100% superwash merino 4-ply worsted weight yarn. And my main color is called Sand. So I've got 4 skeins of Sand, which is this color, a nice neutral color. And then for my contrast, I have a pink, and I'll put all the color names in the project page, but I have pink, brown, and green and blue. So I'm really excited to see how this comes out. As you can see, I'm already using the pink and brown, so I know what that looks like and I would love to show you. Now there's gonna be pine needles on the bag as well as dog hair. Okay, so this is such a fun cardigan design. Check for critters, make sure we're good. I see some birds, but nothing else. Look at this. I've already done so much. It's been so much fun. It's so addicting. And we've done a lot of driving these past few days. We've probably spent 6+ hours every single day in the car. And this is what I have been working on. It's been so much fun. So the fun part about this cardigan is it is intarsia. So you can do the stripes in different ways, but I've chosen to do the big chunky stripes. And so it's kind of like misaligned. So it's not you use the one color all the way through, you actually switch them, and this is the middle back. So when the cardigan comes around in the front, hi Crow, when the cardigan, or Raven, I don't know what you are actually, when the cardigan comes around in the front, they'll kind of be like mismatched, which I think is really fun. It's so cute. So I am addicted to this. It has been working up so fast for me. It is so much fun. Now for some bad news. So when I started this a few days ago, I was looking at it thinking, this looks a little bit small. I don't know. I'm using 24-inch circulars, so everything looks a little bit small, smaller than my body for sure. But I was like, I don't know, it looks a little small. So I went into the pattern, my gauge swatch, I double checked. Hello. I double checked everything on it just to make sure. Kind of did the math, like I took my stitch count, I divided it by my gauge, and I got a number. So the size that I intended to pick is like 41 inches. When I did the math, I got 36.25 or something like that. And I thought, that's a little strange, a little bit odd, but there is gonna be a button band. So maybe I get like 2 more inches from the button band, and maybe there's a stretch, you know, like factor added in there because this is going to stretch a little bit. You can't see it yet, but the bird's about to walk across this way. Ooh, it's making spooky noises. So I don't know what that means. Okay, I just stood up for a second. The bird flew off. I wasn't sure what it was trying to tell me, if it was like warning me to go away or if it just wanted to chat. But as soon as I stood up, it flew off. So back to the sweater drama that I'm having. So it should have been a clue to me. First, my gut instinct that it was looking too small. Second, when I did the math and I realized that I only had 36 inches, I somehow magically thought that the band was going to add that extra 4 to 5 inches that I was missing. And that happened yesterday. And I still kept knitting. And then for some reason today, like there was just this little thought, like niggling in the back of my mind, like there's something wrong, like something is not right. So I looked at the pattern again. I did that same math again. So I'm getting 5 stitches to the inch. I had, you know, X number of stitches. I did the division, it said 36, and something made me go back and look at the pattern itself. And I realized that I had circled the wrong size for my cast on number. And I actually cast on a size down. And I just like, I was so upset with myself in that moment. I was like, how could I have done this? Like, what in the world? So I kind of looked back through my pattern, and on the page before, I had circled my size 41. And then on the very next page, I just miscounted. Like what I usually do in my brain is I go, oh, I'm the first size in parentheses, or I'm the second size in parentheses, or whatever. So I must have done that, gone to the next page, circled the wrong thing in the cast on, because then everything else that's circled is a size down, every other number. So it never clued into me that I had done something wrong because I only had the right size circled on the information page. Everything in the pattern itself was one size down. So I am bummed. For a few hours today, I convinced myself that all would be fine, because technically the size that I cast on is still within the suggested ease that Rebecca gives for the pattern. So she gives 1 to 4 inches. And my bust measure is like 35.5 inches or so. So I wanted to do something with a little more ease. I want a little more relaxed fit. I definitely wanted at least that 4 inches of positive ease. So that's why I went for the 41 size. And so the size that I'm actually making will end up being about 37 inches. I mean, quite literally, if I look at the pattern, the next size up has 20 more stitches. 4 more inches. And I'm like, dang. So for a few hours today, I was still knitting on it. Like, it's going to be fine. I'm just going to continue making it. I've already done so much. Like, I'm getting close to splitting for the front and the back already. And then I kind of went, you know what? This is so silly. I have only been working on this for 3 days. I've done a lot of knitting, but it's only been 3 days. So if I were to start over, I could catch back up in 3 days. I could get the sweater that I actually want, and all will be well. Plus, I've enjoyed working on this so much, it's not going to be a problem to do it again because it's so much fun. So I have decided to start over. I haven't done it quite yet, but I mean, this all just happened like within the last couple hours. As we were driving around Yellowstone, I hand wound my other 2 skeins. My first ones I caked at the store, so I hand wound my other 2 skeins. So when I get back to the car, as we drive to our campsite, I'm going to grab my ribbing needles and cast this baby on again. So next week, things may be looking very similar, but know that they are different in size. Starting to get the sun going down. I'm gonna see if I scoot a little closer, if that helps a bit. Okay, I have also cast on a new pair of socks this week, also Polka Dot Creek, but bear with me here. This one has a distinct purpose. So last year for Sock Week, I had a great outdoors theme because we were doing all this traveling to national parks. And Polka Dot Creek was one of our sponsors last year, and they made an amazing color called Waterton, wait, hold on. I have it here, haha. Of course I do. Called Waterton Lakes National Park. And Waterton Lakes National Park is a national park in Canada that is connected to Glacier National Park in the US, which is in Montana. And it's a beautiful, beautiful colorway. So I did not get to it last year during Sock Week. I did not use my skein. So I thought I will save it and I will work on it later. It's a super fun self-striping colorway. I will get to it at some point. Then earlier this year, we decided we're going to travel through Canada. And I thought, perfect, I'm actually going to get to go to Waterton Lakes National Park. I will find my skein and I will make my socks either while I'm in the park or while I'm in Canada or both. And I searched and searched for that skein and I could not find it. I still don't know where it is. I'm a little bit afraid that it somehow got into a donation pile, but my stuff is so scrambled around right now that I still have a feeling it's somewhere. But regardless, I didn't find it before we left on our Canada trip in May, and so I didn't have it to work on it in Waterton. So when I first met Shelly, it was about 2 weeks before we came back to them this week. I told her that I had lost my skein, and I said that because I was hoping that they had some in the store, and they were all sold out. So they have a bunch of national parks colorways, and that one is the one that was sold out, which is so funny. It's so beautiful. And so I was like, okay, no worries, like I'll look at your other stores. And she was like, I don't think we have it at any of the stores because we haven't dyed it up in a while. So I was like, you know what, it's fine, it's totally okay. You know, I will hopefully find my skein. So then we went and we did some other stuff, and we came back about 2 weeks later to Calgary, to Polka Dot Creek, and Shelly had dyed me up. Well, not just me, she dyed it for the store too. 2 skeins of this beautiful Waterton Lakes National Park colorway. And so I couldn't help myself. It was perfect timing because we went to Waterton Lakes very last. That's the last thing we did in Canada. It's right on the border. And so we went there and I got to cast on, keep sticking to this picnic table, I got to cast on my socks, and look how pretty. So there's 4 colors that repeat, and one of them is a speckle, which is so much fun. So I am planning to do, I think, 10 stripes, and then I'm going to start the increasing that's in the Vanilla is the New Black sock heel, which is one of my favorites right now. I think it looks really good with self-striping because it gradually adds stitches, so they only get a little bit skinnier at a time. So that's my plan. I haven't really worked on it since we went to the park. I worked on it in Waterton and in Glacier and got some pictures and stuff, but I just couldn't help myself from casting it on there. And then The other surprise was that they decided to make the Waterton color into its own like speckled skein. So this is the speckles, I believe from the stripe, but maybe with a little more added in. Like I can see a little more like a tealy color or aqua color. So how fun is that? That's also available now. And they gifted me this skein, which was so, so nice. So now I have so much Waterton yarn. I can make myself socks, I can make Kent socks, which is really exciting. Last project today is my Canada blanket, and I have quite a lot to update you on with this one. Well, I mean, kind of. I'm still sort of in a in-between state of figuring things out, but I have a couple different yarns to show you, and I also finished a square. I think I might have finished 2 squares. I can't remember if I had done this one last week. This is another polka dot creek colorway, but it's representing one of my Alberta squares. So I had, I think I still had to finish that last week. Maybe I had started it, but then my last official skein for this blanket, hold on, I'm trapped in a crochet hook here, is this beautiful one. I hand wound it because I wanted to get it started while we were in the van. So this is from Butterflies and Botanicals, and it is called Simply Irresistible, which is so nice. This is a gift from my friend Haley, who is also an Alberta dyer. So I worked up this square. Now I haven't done the pattern square yet because I'm waiting on a few things. So I'm kind of debating like which pattern to do in this one. There is one pattern that has this really cute flower in the center that I think would look really nice with this, but it's the same pattern that I have worked in the square that only has 1 square. So everything except for 1 color has 2 squares, a plain one and a patterned one. So I've been keeping track to make sure I don't repeat my patterns too many times. So I went through the 12 patterns of the Yorkshire blanket, 1 through 12, not in order, but I made sure I hit all 12 of them. And then I went back through them, and I think I have 3 patterns that have not been worked a second time, and that flower one is one of them. So I do think it would look good, but I would rather not repeat that pattern if my single square ends up being in the center of the blanket. I kind of want it to be different, and I haven't decided on that yet. So I have another pattern that I think would look good in this one if I end up having that single square in the center of my blanket. So several of you gave me this suggestion to do a blanket that has 9 squares long and 5 squares wide, because then it would be 45 squares, and that would allow me to have my single square in the center of the blanket, which I think would look really nice. Everything else would have the 2, but I'm a little worried that that's going to look a little long and skinny. I kind of tried to estimate, like I measured my squares, they measure approximately 9 inches. So 9 by 5 is 45 inches wide, 9 by 9 is 81 inches long. So it's essentially, if you took a queen, I was looking at this, I think it's if you took a queen size blanket and did the length of a queen size blanket, but you chopped the width in half. So I'm not sure if I like that, like if it's too long and skinny, but I won't really know until I can get somewhere where I can lay out all my squares. So for now I'm pausing, because if I end up doing the long and skinny version, I will do the more basic pattern on the square. If I end up doing what I planned last week, I think, which is 42 squares, then I might do the fun flowery one and only include that one and not include the plain one. I don't know yet. This is probably not making a whole lot of sense if this is the first time you're hearing about this blanket. I've been just driving myself nuts trying to figure this out, and I've just decided wait until you get back to Tennessee, but have some backups in place. So if I end up doing the long and skinny 5 by 9, I do need to make 2 more squares, because all I have right now is 43. I guess I have 42 until I make that second square. So I did get 1 more yarn. I went to Polka Dot Creek in Cochrane. So they have 3 locations. The first one, the first color that I got was in their Calgary location. It had a special colorway. Their Cochrane location also has a special colorway, and it's so pretty. I thought, you know, if I don't end up putting it in the blanket, I will definitely end up using it for something. And this was the last one of the variegated that they had there. So I decided to grab it. So I'm holding on to this. If I need it for the blanket, I have it. If not, I will use it for something else. So that's been all of the blanket things I've been thinking about this week. But I did do one last really exciting thing, and I have picked my border color. So as of right now, I am planning to join this like the Yorkshire blanket. So you work, I believe you work one round around each square, and then you join them with this nice little like kind of delicate looking pattern. And I think I might even do the Yorkshire blanket border on this blanket as well, because I didn't end up doing it on my original one. I went a little more modern and more contemporary, but I kind of maybe think it would look good on this one. I don't know yet. I haven't decided, but I did need to pick a color. So when I was at Polka Dot Creek, Shelly said, wouldn't it be fun if you came in the dye studio with us and dyed the color for your last color for your Canada blanket? And I just loved that idea right away, because it's so fitting to make sure all of the yarns that are in this blanket were dyed in Canada, because it just truly represents that whole journey that we had, that whole adventure, that whole summer that we did. And so I think it makes it even more special that I get to have a hand in creating that color. Or I didn't think I was going to create a colorway. I just thought I was going to pick one of the colors that they had and just, be there to help dye it. Well, I kind of got to create a colorway. So we basically took one of their really lovely pink colors and made it a little more muted, a little more soft. I was first leaning towards more of a neutral, maybe like a cream or something. But then I thought, I've done that before. I don't want to join a blanket with cream. I've already done that. I want to do something different. So of course, for my pink and purple blanket, we ended up going with a really nice light pink. And they called this, Natalie's Special Pink, because it was a color that they don't have in the store, or maybe they will have, I'm not sure, but it's just a really nice, light, soft pink. And I am so delighted with it. I cannot wait to put my blanket together. I am dreaming of, once we get back to Tennessee, kind of get our ducks in a row, I want to take like a week off and all I want to do is just relax and put this blanket together. And I think that will be really healing, and also like a really good way to kind of close out what has been such a special summer for us. So I don't know, it was just really, really cool to do. All right, that's all I got for the blanket. That was a lot of blab. I don't know if I'll have blanket progress next week, but hopefully it will be done really, really soon. Let's do a couple of questions. Number one is from Bagel of the North. Do you have any yarn store recommendations in Austin or New Orleans? You said you're going to be visiting, which is so exciting. So sadly, my favorite store in Austin is actually closing. It may have already closed. It was a fantastic yarn store, but they're closing. I think they just announced it this year. So I don't really have any suggestions in Austin, honestly. Many years ago, I think it was before Kent and I got married, so more than 8 years ago, we did the yarn crawl that's in the Austin area. So I need to honestly go back and look at that video, but I think the majority of those stores are in the surrounding area and like also towards San Antonio. I'm not very good with directions. So I'm not really sure a direct Austin store, but maybe somebody in our audience does know a store in Austin and can give that suggestion. But I do know of a yarn store in New Orleans, and it is right in the heart of New Orleans. It's called the Quarter Stitch. It's been there for a long time. It is fantastic. Every time I've gone to New Orleans, I've visited them. They have yarn and also needlepoint stuff. So it's really cute. They have, at least the last time I was there, which was last January. Is that right? No, it must have been January of 2023. Then I was there in December. I was there in December of 2024. So I have been there more recently. I went to the Quarter Stitch, but they have a yarn dyer that is in the New Orleans area that they carry there. So I think they're called like Cats or something like that. I'm not going to remember off the top of my head. I did get it for my US blanket though. So I would highly recommend the Quarter Stitch because you're going to find it. I think it's in the French Quarter. It's very easy to find and a great place to go. All right, question number 2. And I'm so sorry, I forgot to write down who asked this question, and I don't think I have internet right now. So where do you buy your project bags, or do you make them? Okay, I do not. So I find sewing to be difficult. So I will buy project bags from people who can make them well. I love buying project bags. So I get my project bags, honestly, from a variety of places. It's rare that I get a project bag from the same place twice because there's so many good makers out there putting together so many different styles and fun fabrics. So this one that I've been using all summer long is from Shannon's Fun Bags. I don't think it has a tag on it, but I really like this one a lot. It's a really fun print. Probably about time to switch it out for something a little more, you know, moody for fall. And then, like I said, I shared this one earlier from Penny in Canada I don't know if she's got a name on her bags, but I got that at Polka Dot Creek. I usually try to get them at local yarn stores from local vendors or at like a show or something. What am I trying to say? A fiber festival is usually where I pick out my project bags. If you go on Etsy, there's going to be so many options. So take a look through there. 5 to 6 handmade is one of my favorite ones. I don't have any specifically project bags from her. I have the needle cases, which are also basically project bags, and they're really, really nice. So I know she's got a good project bag as well. Okay. Last one is not a question, but a correction from a question that I answered last week. The question was something like, actually, I think I have it written one page back. No, I don't actually. I think I had it on my phone. So the question last week was, does holding your yarn double the cost of your project? And I basically said yes, like it's going to double the cost of your project. But several of you pointed out that if you're doing fingering weight, you're buying fingering weight, holding it double to use for DK weight yarn, it actually doesn't double your cost. So let's break that down a little bit because I need to correct myself on this. I should have done a touch more research before I answer this question. So in some cases, doubling your yarn is going to double your cost. So if you have, let's say, a yarn where you're holding DK and mohair together, now you're buying 2 different yarns to kind of do the same thing. It creates a different kind of fabric. It is really nice. And generally mohair is a little bit more affordable per yard. You get like more of it in 50 grams than you would with a wool or something. So it's not quite double, but it does add to your cost because you're buying twice as much yarn. But where that changes is fingering weight to DK, which is what I'm doing with my blanket. It's what I've done in a lot of projects, honestly. So fingering weight generally has 400 plus yards, sometimes 420, sometimes 463. It just depends on the fiber content. DK weight yarn typically has around 240 plus yards. So it could be 240, it could be 260, 280. I'm not saying all these exactly correct, but this is roughly. So essentially you would pay the same, or you would pay like a similar price for a fingering weight skein and a DK weight skein, but with fingering weight, you're getting almost double the yardage. Not quite. It's not quite double the yardage, but almost double the yardage of DK. So then when you double that up and essentially half it, you're actually getting pretty close. So getting fingering weight to replace DK weight yarn is a touch more expensive, but it is definitely not double the cost. So thank you all for pointing that out, and hopefully that makes a little more sense now. That is all the questions for this week. If you do have any questions for me, knitting, crochet, life related, just put them down in the comments below with the hashtag question in front, and I'll do my best to answer them on the next episode. I have just one thing for the Yarny News segment this week, and that is the October Woolen Women box. This is a really fun subscription where you get yarn and a stitch marker and a bag, and if you do the larger box, you also get sometimes a candle, sometimes it's soap, like a scented soap for a wool wash, lots of really fun things. I was getting them, I think, most of last year up until early this year, and then with travel, especially with us being out of the country, we just decided to hit pause. But I do have pictures to share with you of October's box, and it is wicked themed, which is so fun. The yarn is really, really cute. Of course, it's pink and green, but it also has a little bit of like yellow and darker colors in there. And then it comes with 2 minis if you get the fingering weight version, a pink one and a green one. The bag has like the cute little striped, like the witch's boot with like the striped socks on it, which is so much fun. And then of course there's stitch markers. There's wooden stitch markers and there's the polymer clay ones. I believe that is Glinda. I'm not sure. I think it is. I've actually seen Wicked on Broadway, but it was my first time seeing it or hearing the story. So all I can remember is what's in Wicked the movie, because I've seen that more recently, and that's like just the first act, right? So I don't really know what's coming up. So I'm just gonna be surprised along with, I'm sure, lots of other people in the theater, and I'm really excited for that. This one also comes with a soap and it comes with a candle. The candles are the best. I have a whole collection of candles from Woolen Women that are just sitting beside my desk, and I cannot wait to start using those again when we get back to Tennessee and I can sit at a desk and I can use candles again because we're not in a van. So I can't see the scent on this one in the picture. I'm so sorry, but it should say, oh wait, no, I can. Orange, coconut, caramel, and I can't see the last one. It almost looks like it says praline, but I don't think that's right. It might be, but definitely something delicious. All of the candles that I've ever gotten from them are so, so good. So if you like this box and you want to get in for October's, just make sure to order by September 23rd. But they do a new box every single month. If you follow along on Instagram at Woolen Women, you can always see what they're coming up with next. Starting to get chilly and my hands are getting cold. It's been like 50 something degrees all day today, which is just wild. But then the sun is so bright, it's so hot. So I was all warmed up, but now the sun is going away. So I'm getting cold, but that's good because we're on our last segment here. So let's talk about some highlights from this week. So honk, all right. We finished out our Canada trip this week. We started traveling, I think it was like May 14th or something in Montreal, and we have been doing the Trans-Canada Highway. We've been to all 10 provinces and it's been the best. Like, we did not want to leave. It was such a great trip. We finished out in our 10th province of Alberta and we went to Banff, we went to Jasper, and then that was all like 2 weeks ago. And then this last week, we started traveling further south, getting closer to the US, and we just had a really great time in the Calgary area. So that's when we went to Polka Dot Creek. So we started out that day, we went to their Cochrane location, which is west, maybe like northwest. Don't count me on this because, again, directions are not my thing. But this is their second location that they opened. It's in like an old house and a really cute kind of little downtown area. We got some ice cream afterwards, which was fun. But we just wanted to go and see all of the locations and be able to share them on our Alberta vlog, which will be coming out next week. So when we got there, we were like, we're just gonna spend a little bit of time, say hi to everyone, film. Everyone was so nice. We ended up staying for like an hour plus. I'm not really sure how long we stayed. I ended up getting to sit, and our toaster ended up coming in. I got to sit and knit for a little bit on my tank top and hang out. I got that yarn that I showed earlier that I'm thinking about putting in my blanket if I need to. And it was just a really lovely time. All the people that we met were just so nice. It was so much fun. Then we made our way that same day to the Airdrie location, which is now, I believe, on the east side of Calgary, and that's where the dye studio is. It's their first original location, and it was stitch night. So when we got there was all these tables in the middle, and there was just like food everywhere, snacks to have. So we had to do a bit of filming. We did film a dye studio tour. We also filmed, I'm so excited to share this with you, we filmed how self-striping yarn is made. So that's going to be coming out as its own video, and it was really cool to see the process. Like, I had an inkling of how to do it, but it was so cool to actually see in person and just how many people are part of that one skein. It was amazing to see. So we had so much fun just filming. Then we dyed my yarn. I got to pick up my sweater colors and we sat down for stitch night, which was really lovely. One of the super cool things that happened is I got to meet Melissa, who was a winner last year sometime. I did a giveaway where I asked, the prompt was, what would you bring to stitch night? And it was a random winner. Like, it wasn't like I picked it based on what somebody said, but the winner ended up being Melissa, and she had said she would bring her famous baked mac and cheese. And so wouldn't you know, I end up in the same area as Melissa, and she brought her famous bacon mac and cheese to knit night, and it was so good. It was so delicious. So thank you, Melissa. It was really lovely to meet you. And also your mac and cheese was so good, so amazing. So that was really cool. The next day we went to Custom Woolen Mills. So we weren't planning to go here, but we learned from the ladies at Polka Dot Creek in Cochrane that it's actually pretty close to the Airdrie location. I think it was maybe like a half hour away. And so we thought, well, we can't really leave without going to Custom Woolen Mills. We've been hearing so much about it. I think it's one of the biggest and oldest mills in the western part of Canada. And if you remember, we went to Briggs & Little in Eastern Canada, and that is the oldest woolen mill in Canada. So since we've been hearing about it all along the way, we felt like we're so close, we've got to go. So we went and we did a little self-guided tour of the mill. And I don't know how this always happens to us. We get so lucky. Unfortunately for them, something wasn't going right and the mill was off. So there was no operating machines, which meant that we actually got to go and walk the floor, which is not something you can normally do. So we got to go and walk through all of the machines in the mill. I don't know how this seems to happen to us so often, but it was really nice to get to see everything. Also, they were very, very friendly. They have sock machines. I think there were 3 of them in this room, which was really neat. And then they have a little store. And so of course, after I see yarn, like how yarn gets made, it is impossible for me to resist getting yarn. So I ended up getting, I was kind of in a hurry. So I didn't stop to like look up a pattern. I just bought enough yarn that I think is going to be enough for a sweater. So I got 3 skeins of this natural color. It's 70% wool, 30% mohair, and it looks like this. It is a 2-ply. It's really nice, soft, non-superwash. I have 3 skeins of that. And then they also do natural dyeing. So these are all natural dyes. And this is their, it's a different base. It's mule spinner yarns, it says. And this one I think is just 100% wool and it's a single ply, but I think this will be really pretty to use the 2 of them together, like these colors in a yoke for a sweater. So if you have any suggestions for this, I would love to hear them, because I don't know what is with me lately, but I am just doing stuff on a whim. I am just casting things on and buying yarn without making really smart decisions. And I mean, I think that was a pretty smart decision. I do have a decent idea for how much yarn I need for a sweater at this point, but I don't know. I'm just having a lot of fun throwing caution to the wind. After that, we stayed with my friend Natalie that I have met through the knitting world, and it was so great. She cooked us dinner. She made us puffed wheat squares, which I had never had before, which are so good, and she sent us on our way with some. And I learned that if you take them, I took it and I put it in the dashboard of the car and let it like warm up and soften a little bit, and it was so good. They're so amazing. So that was really fun. Oh, also she made me a cute little chicken, but I forgot to bring it out with me. She makes so many gnomes of like the gnomes that Sarah Shira designs, but then she'll put like cute little accessories on them to represent different people in the Love and Stitches membership, which is so cool. So I was really honored to get a little stuffy thing made from her. I'll try to remember to grab a picture and show you. And then lastly, we're here in Yellowstone and we've been having the best time. We just got here yesterday. We're only here through like tomorrow morning, but it's been really, really great. And I am really enjoying just getting to kind of soak everything in, work on my sweater. Then I'm gonna have to take out, but that's okay. And there's like no pressure right now because we're not really doing the daily vlogging anymore, which is sad, but also kind of nice because I'm just getting to not think, oh, I need to film this. Instead, I'm like, oh, I should share this on Instagram, which is still really fun. So it's been a really, really great week, and we are making our way back to Tennessee here in just about another week. So travel is really coming to an end. So outdoor podcasts, this may be the last one. I think I'm gonna have to film next week while we're on the road, which probably means in like a Target parking lot somewhere. So please enjoy the beautiful scenery. We'll all enjoy it together while we can. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.